and I don't want to like get too like into a thing if you got like a certain order of the things you want to talk about. So,
Yeah, do it up.
What you
but
got next?
so when I'm talking about like the kind of anime that have influenced in certain ways and introduced us to certain genres and types of anime we like. And Jess, you said something earlier
Yeah.
about being a woman, especially coming up in the 90s when anime wasn't mainstream yet, when it was still kind of this niche thing. I want to
Yeah.
get your take on what it's like coming up, because I know that like a lot of nerdy things and like nerd occupied spaces are very hostile towards uh women in general. They can be very hostile, they can be very misogynistic. So I want to know what it was like, because I know there's that weird, oh well, she's like that one in a million girl who likes anime, and I know that that's kind of a weird thing to say because it's not actually one in a million girls. We feel like it's
Right.
one in a million because
Like
we
stereotypes.
make,
Oh,
yeah,
girls also.
we feel like it's one in a million because we give all the women who actually do like anime a really hard time. So I just kind of want you. I'm not trying to put you on the spot if you don't want to talk about it,
No, no, you're
but
fine.
but uh
Honestly,
but I'm kind of
do you
interested
mean
in what
like
you have to
growing
say
up
about
liking
that.
anime? Like growing up and
Yeah, so
liking
just
anime, like
growing.
before it was really like now, I'm old now, like nobody cares what I like now, but I definitely
Yeah,
struggled like when I was growing up. Like I moved schools because like I got bullied so much. Like I just like I was
Man.
such a little dork, and all I did was
Sorry.
like watch Pokemon and Sailor Moon. And I remember one of the things that got me really into art was Spirited Away and
Oh,
like Totoro
yeah.
and stuff. And my mom bought those for me at a video store. That's how old I am. That was closing down back in the
Oh,
day.
got the
So
blockbuster discount.
Let's get
the
that deal.
Blockbuster discount.
That
Yeah, and I still
Hollywood
have
video.
CDs,
video.
and they do still say like at the movies. I remember the name of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I got bullied pretty hardcore for what I liked when I was growing up, and even into high school, like I kind of dialed it back a little bit just because when you get to that age, like sucks getting made fun of and kind of being like the odd person out. But I mean, I still rocked it. I still rocked my Sailor Moon, like all that stuff, but yeah, it was definitely tough. I didn't really struggle too much with having like dudes be kind of rude to me about what I liked. I experienced that probably the most like playing card games and stuff. I used to play Magic a little bit,
Love
and I
Magic.
had some dudes be pretty rude to me during Magic and during Pokemon and stuff. So other than that,
Do you,
though, nothing too bad. Just when I was younger, I had a hard time because I was a really weird kid on top of liking stuff like that nobody else liked. And like, I never listened to the same music because I liked like anime music and I liked, I don't know. I was a really introverted kid. So
You're on
do you
YouTube looking at anime openings and putting them
I
on
knew
your
he was going
PSP.
there. Bro, that's good music.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was going there. That's good music.
Yo, that's how the
um
PSP was
wait,
loaded up
say it
with
again.
all the. I said you were looking up anime openings on YouTube and downloading them and putting them on your PSP.
Yeah. Remember the first
Yeah.
iPod?
Yep.
Yeah.
The
I
dinosaur?
had it loaded with tunes.
Yes.
What else you
I
got,
do
wish
Liggett?
you
I still have my PSP.
Yeah.
I would have so many.
What you got, Liggett?
do you do you feel like it's better now for kids growing up right now who are getting into anime, and I'm asking for two different reasons. One, because anime is so much more mainstream
Yeah.
and so accessible.
Yeah.
And the other reason I'm asking is just because the social climate is so much different and more progressive and open-minded than when we were kids.
Yeah.
So do you think that there's still a lot of kids having a lot hard time, or do you think, or not even just kids, but I'm just speaking from like uh an observational standpoint in terms of
Mhm.
like women in nerdy culture, because you're a cosplayer, right? So you
Yeah.
definitely deal with a lot of that type of stuff.
I deal with it a lot still too, especially the type of cosplay I do now.
Right,
I do more sexy stuff, and people tend to either really like it or really, really hate it.
right. So do you I guess what I'm asking is, uh, do you feel like the toxicity in like anime and cosplay has gotten better over time, or do you think it's worse, or do you think it just depends on what part of it you pay attention to?
I guess it really does just depend on what part of it you pay attention to. I know that like in some like anime circles people can be a little more aggressive. Like I remember like the fairy tale, like when fairy tale was really big, because I love fairy tale. Just I don't know. I just like it. And when that was really big, I feel like sometimes the fairy tale crew was a little aggressive with like who they shipped and would be kind of like rude to
Yeah,
people that
green
didn't
light.
agree with them.
No. Do you remember the Homestuckers?
Yes, I never was it a game?
Oh,
Hey,
is it a visual thing?
What even
Was
was,
it a
that?
game or was
It
it
was
like
a
it was a
story?
comic.
it's a
It
it's a web comic. Yeah, it was a web
Yeah.
comic.
It was like
Okay,
500
see,
episodes.
I've
long.
never-
or something like that.
It was
But-
so weird, yo. Like it was.
Yeah,
so
they always
weird.
reminded me of candy corns. The horns.
Little candy horns.
Little candy
some
corns.
Of them, some of them
Otakon.
literally
When we met at
taste
Otakon
like
though,
penises and
the
shit.
that was the most prevalent thing, I think.
It was huge. Yes.
Huge.
They had we went to Katsucon one, and it was like 2013, I think. That's our first Katsucon, right? Like,
Yeah, it was 13.
so we went there, and they occupied a whole corner of Katsu. Like, they took over a whole hallway section. You walk down
That's a
there,
lot
and
of people.
they kind of just looked at you like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're not in gray
What do you
body
mean?
paint and horns. You don't belong here.
you're not in,
I
Get
just
you're not
need
out.
to
in
get
here.
to the bathroom.
It was like-
if you don't mind.
It was like a dark world over there, and that's where my secret toilet was. And it was tight about it.
Secret
So,
toilet.
yeah, I know what corner you're talking
And then-
about too. I didn't.
And then real quick, whenever you guys are done talking, I would like to just talk about like some honorable mentions, and then you guys say if you like them or not, or we have to say.
We'll get to it.
On topic, mate.
Yeah, no worries.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it at the end.
Yeah.
Last thoughts. Last
But-
thoughts.
I wasn't trying to take over your thing, Tyler. I was just
No, that's
Uh,
that was really the next thing I was going to bring up, as far as like
So-
how things are being received and whatnot. No apologies needed, man.
think-
We're discussing stuff. We're good.
I think overall though, I would like to think that it's gotten better and friendlier, but I don't really know. I keep to myself so much. Like most of like my con friends that I've been friends with them for so long. I haven't really tried to like break into any new groups. And when I go to Comic-Con now, I usually go with my friend Liz, and they're really bomb. She makes wallets out of recycled comic book and manga pages and like art book pages. And she
Yeah.
makes a bunch of stuff. So I just help her now. So I haven't really been in trying to get into new groups in a convention in such a long time, or even like online or anything. So I want to say it's gotten better though. I hope it has.
Well, I'm definitely glad to have you here and have your take and your perspective on it.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's important, from a representation standpoint, and we
Yeah.
do need to address, like what we have fun with the positives, but we also should address the negatives and
Yeah.
the toxicity and the bullying and the misogyny.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's hard with online now too, because most people present such a different person than they really are on the internet. So it's like when you meet someone in person, sometimes like they think they can be like a little more, I don't know what the word is, like they think they know how you are, but you're not really like that. So I feel like having like the internet and then meeting people in person has brought an interesting like perspective to con culture too.
yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah.
Do you get do you get a lot of dudes who because I noticed you posted like a Naruto cosplay in the last 2
Yeah.
days today.
Yeah, my sexy jutsu.
Do you still do you get like a lot of dudes in your comments claiming that you don't know the character just because you're doing like a sexy version of it, or is that like a problem you deal with a lot?
It's a problem I used to deal with. But I feel like as far as anime goes, I have been able to like shut a lot of that down. And me personally, I usually only cosplay characters that I really like and I feel like I have like a connection with or whatever. So I don't deal with that like I used to. But I do have some people like, oh, do you even watch anime? Do you? I'm like, yes, like for like literally my whole life. I don't know why people ask that, but
You're
they
supposed to
do.
know every single aspect of every single detail of every single
Yeah.
episode, page number, everything.
Right.
Like
Page number.
because
Hey,
I definitely
number.
feel that
Favorite
way.
fight.
Like right now, I'm
Uh,
like I know what I like and why I like certain pieces of anime, but like I don't know every single detail of all the shows I watch.
Right.
So like I definitely
Yeah, same.
understand that.
Like
Yeah, people can be really mean on